Again, this is valid at Monday 0Z, but notice what's going on in here. Look at how we have much more blockiness over the top. This is not flat. The ridge is not moving east. Again, look at the 0Z GFS look. We had a basic trough in here. The whole thing was moving east. Big differences. Big differences in this run. And this has been shown consistently through the 12Z60. We've seen it starting to trend in this direction. And the European agrees as well. And we're going to go ahead and look at that in just a few minutes. But definitely, look at this. Clipper out front. Here comes the next system. Okay. So now we're going to move on in time. And I'm showing you a run that's only on the 18Z GFS because here comes the system that was the main deal. Look at this. On Tuesday the 25th at 18Z. Not Monday the 24th at 12Z, which was what the GFS had suspected. This is much more in line with the timing that the Euro had yesterday with that system. Notice it's a bit deeper. It still is most of the Southern Branch energy sitting out front here, but it's trending in that direction. And notice, yes, it's starting to break down the block, but not as much. Here's a piece coming back, and maybe a new block starting to form sitting back here. Very interesting that we see that. So going back to looking at both of them, here's the 0Z GFS once again. And notice, bam, the system that was in here moved inland, getting carved out, getting ready to come across as the next storm. But the block is pretty much destroyed. There's a little bit sitting back here, but it's not really too well defined. And look at this. We got our normal southeast ridge that has been the killer all winter coming up along the east coast. 50-50 low, but it's going to get displaced because this block is way too far east. Right? Well, we'll see. Again, look at this. Wednesday, the 26th at 0Z. Now we're going to look at the GFS, or this is actually valid the 29th at 6Z, the 18Z GFS, same time. And you can probably say it's around the same configuration. This new block, look at the difference. Block displaced east, block up back to the west, and actually trying to build once again over the Greenland. What that does is it helps slow the flow way down, and you get this system to be sitting in here. This system is 3 days later on the new GFS. That is a humongous change. Nice 50-50 low sitting in here. So what happens as a result of that? Well, let's go ahead and take a look. Again, here's what the old GFS did. Around the 28th, 0Z, which is, I believe, it's earlier than when this was valid and the storm's just developing. Here's the 28th. It's got a nice progressive storm sitting in here. Again, maybe a good storm for interior sections of New England, but look at what's going on with the block. It's sitting way up here to the east and northeast. Here's the ridge building along the coast. 50-50 low is not really a 50-50 low, not in the classic position. But hold on, folks. Let's take a look now at the 18Z GFS. And once again, here's a big cutoff low along the coast. Look at that lovely block sitting up in Greenland. Nice 50-50 sitting in here. Ridge is well off the southeast coast, and you have a much different solution. This is April Fool's Day in the morning. This is the end of March. Could March go out like a lion, in like a lamb, which it kind of was this year? We shall see. Let's go ahead and take a look now at what the year, well, before we do that, we're going to take a look at probably a map that a lot of you guys want to see. Here's the GFS valid at the same time on the surface. Bam. This would be monumental. Absolutely insane storm sitting along the coast here. But is that going to happen? We shall see. I think not, but only time will tell. So let's go ahead and move over to the European. This is today's 12Z run. Clipper sitting in here. Okay, so it's pretty much, it's got its normal timing. It's not quite as fast as the GFS. Here comes the next storm, by the way. The 12Z and the 0Z did nothing like the old GFS. But notice here's the position of the block in here coming back much farther to the west. Nice 50-50 low sitting in here. So what happens? Here comes our next storm. A little bit of a block sitting back here. Here's the storm off the coast. You know, here's the ridge way out in front. It's still a decent looking setup, but it's certainly not what we were seeing before. And again, this is valid. So the Euro is still pretty fast. It's certainly not as slow as the GFS. We'll have to see if it plays catch up or if the GFS is just out to lunch. But even though it's slower, it has a similar situation. Here comes the next storm building in. Low pressure sitting down here. Got the block, which is still pretty far displaced east. It hasn't caught on, but it is trying to sneak its way back into here. Over the top. Huge low where we really want to see the block right now, but that certainly is time to change. So extrapolating from this, we probably would end up with a storm that would be a lakes cutter, but it doesn't take too much to get this cutoff low to bowl east and for us to get a big storm up the east coast. Notice the time frame, March 27th. Right in here, Thursday, March 27th at 0Z. So that's all I have for you folks today. Going to give you another video update tomorrow as we see the situation changing. Thanks for joining me and thanks for watching. I know that these video updates are getting longer and longer by the day, it seems. This is Aaron DeBruin, Vinyl Freak 89 from EasternUSWeather.com. Have a great day, folks.